We just finished the Loki Season 2 finale, and we, as in my wife and I, are about to tell you what we think. Stay tuned. Hello to all my friends out there in YouTube land. It's your good buddy Philtastic Phil, and you have to speak up a little bit because we got the heater going too, honey.
I can't, he's sleeping.
That's my wife. She says hi. You may or may not be able to hear her right now. And welcome back to the channel. So as I said in the introduction, we're trying to speak a little bit low because our son is sleeping. We just completed the Season 2 finale of Loki. And I thought it would be appropriate if we recorded right now so we gave you our raw thoughts and whatnot on the entire season, because I haven't really talked about that on the channel at all. Before we get into that, I should note we're recording this Friday night. We are still very much on baby watch. We are actually in what I would describe as high alert. Is that accurate?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so by the time you see this, and I've been saying this the last couple of videos, but by the time you see this, the baby may very well be here. Today's the 10th. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling tomorrow's going to be the big day.
You had this feeling last weekend.
I know. I've been saying that for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be the big day. But tomorrow, I think. 11/11. I think that was going to be the big day.
Yeah.
So before we get into the finale, just to kind of set the table a bit, you did not like Season 1, correct?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay. We won't get into why.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, as a whole, what are your thoughts?
Much better.
And I should say, by the way, I'm sorry. I should say we're not doing this spoiler free. So if you haven't watched Loki Season 2 yet, go get a sandwich, watch it. 6 episodes. It'll take you half a day, I guess, if you binge it like a crazy person. Mm-hmm. And then come back to us. We'll be here, I promise you. Okay, so I'm sorry, honey. Season 2 in a nutshell. Go ahead.
I thought it was surrounded on one main topic. I understand what they were doing with it, but I just felt like it was really repetitive. No matter how you slice it, no matter how many times they tried to change it up, I felt like it was still surrounded upon one topic. One topic only.
Describe what you mean by topic. Again, we warned everybody, so let it loose, honey.
Well, the TVA is the main, storyline, obviously.
Time Variance Authority, if you're not taking notes.
And time slipping and everything, and he's trying to, figure out how he can correct it and stop it from happening. Mm-hmm. And I felt like they did variations of it for each episode, like they go back in time, try to figure things out. I just felt like, I don't know, like it didn't really tie into something in the end. Like I was expecting like a big ending, and it didn't happen for me.
I disagree. And also, let me go into my Season 2 analysis. First of all, I think it was much better than Season 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was more coherent, more interesting. Mm-hmm. We do see Loki fully, I think, really as a hero realized, which is a little different than we've seen him in the past.
I thought I was going to go in, though.
What's that?
Not the route I thought I was going to go at.
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought they're all going to survive, and he was going to go back in time and figure how to fix it.
But in this last episode, it was apparent there was no way to do that.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the characters here. What were your thoughts on, who were the standout characters other than Loki of this season? Mobius? Yeah. What are your thoughts on Mobius? I
thought he was really well done.
Yeah.
I thought he had a lot of impact. So did the one with the glasses. I forgot his character name.
You're talking OB?
Is that the one?
The
Asian guy.
Yeah, from Temple of Doom. Yeah. OB.
Yeah, he was great in it.
Oro Borealis. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really great in it.
Yeah.
I thought all of them were fantastic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I feel like this season they put the gas more on Loki and Mobius, and but took it off of I don't know the character's name, the female hunter, who I thought was great in season 1. You just saw her with Mobius at the end.
Oh yeah.
I thought they let off her a little bit. Renslayer I thought was greatly diminished, kind of part in this season as well. Though the one episode that she was prevalent in, she definitely had an impact. It really, I felt like, tried to take a departure from the TVA, but being about saving or rescuing the TVA, but just centering that really on maybe 4 or 5 different characters.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Jonathan Majors?
I thought he was good. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed how he was actually portraying a character.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, and I've spoken about that Variety article, and I say it like that because, let's face it, it's a cash grab. You release that stupid statement a week before Marvel's next big movie comes out to sell ad space. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't read the article because everywhere I've seen it, it's behind a paywall. So what does that tell you? Let's get them in with a headline. From what I've read, read about the article, I've heard people say it's recycled information, and it's a whole lot of speculation.
Yeah.
I mean, look, my personal stance, and if you're unfamiliar with basically this article, painted Marvel with as not knowing what to do, as trying to replace Jonathan Majors Kang with Doctor Doom because of some of the legal matters he's involved in. And I'm going to say this, and whether it's Jonathan Majors or anyone else, the way our law works, you are innocent until proven guilty. I can give you my opinion just on the little bit that we've seen, and I'm looking at my TV on the news here, which, I mean, as we all know, if you've watched any of the Heard v. Depp court case, or Depp v. Heard, and then saw what they said on the news, you realize that what happened in court wasn't what was reported on that evening. Look, I'm reserving my judgment as far as Jonathan Majors goes until he has his day in court, and I implore every intelligent human being who sees this to do the same. Let the guy go to court. If he's guilty, screw him. Yeah, you know what? You don't touch or beat up women. Bottom line. If he's innocent, he deserves, I think, the opposite.
Right.
I do think his performance as Kang, or as he who remains in every appearance, whether it be Loki season 1, Ant-Man, here, has been phenomenal. He is the perfect diabolical follow-up to Thanos.
Yeah.
And really, he shined, I think, in this season as far as supporting characters go.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we saw Victor Timely, at first I was like, oh, this could be a little iffy, but he really, really became, I think, one of my favorite characters in the entire Marvel Disney Plus series. All the television shows, I should say. How does this season rank for you as far as the other Disney Plus shows that we've watched? I mean, I know that leading up to now, WandaVision was your favorite. Was this better than WandaVision in your?
No.
Okay, so WandaVision remains your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you didn't care for Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Nope, not at all.
She-Hulk, you were okay, but you didn't like the ending.
I like the ending. Yeah, no.
You didn't like the ending of She-Hulk, right? Well, so What If you weren't into?
Nope.
Were there any other series that you liked? I know season 1 Loki you didn't care for. You didn't watch Secret Invasion.
No.
Which I think was a mistake, but.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much.
And if you want to see my whole review on Secret Invasion, now would be the perfect time, I guess, to go ahead and put a link around here so you can watch that. Okay, so tell me, all in all, Loki season 2. Would you say then this is your, I guess, ipso facto, second favorite Disney Plus series?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, besides WandaVision, what's better than it?
I'm trying to think what other shows.
Oh, Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, Moon Knight was good.
Yeah.
I would say Moon Knight second. This is third.
Okay, and just to make note, you didn't care for any of the. Well, you didn't care for the Werewolf by Night.
No, not at all.
And you did, what were your thoughts on the Guardians Christmas special as far as the ranking goes?
That was okay. That
Okay.
wasn't my favorite.
So this is above that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that this is probably. I like what they did for Loki more than what WandaVision did for Scarlet Witch. You're talking two different stories. But before I jump into actually, let's talk about the ending, because when I looked at you, as soon as it ended, she had a look on her face like she wasn't quite happy. And there is a detail I'm going to explain to you that I think that you didn't realize or that you don't know. So, and these are, of course, where the major spoilers are going to come in. So Loki, after going back and forth trying to figure out ways to save the time loom, all of these different realities, without letting one be destroyed, he's gone back and forth, and he's talked to He Who Remains, and he realizes that basically He Who Remains is in control. So rather than kill Sylvie, thus stopping her from killing He Who Remains and creating all these different Kang variants, he basically goes and takes control of all of the timelines and wraps them around himself and becomes He Who Remains. Not the actual physical character, but he kind of replaces He Who Remains. That's probably a better way of saying it. And he does this by basically wrapping all these timelines around himself and encasing him inside, and this is where I think it was beautifully done, the world tree. Now, I'm going to explain this to my wife because I know she was confused by it. I'm not the biggest Thor aficionado, but luckily we have the internet, and of course if I'm wrong, the internet will, of course, leave a comment and tell me I'm wrong. So the world tree comes from Thor. In their Asgardian legends, the way that they believe is that the top of the tree, and there's a name for the tree, I can't think of the word of it, basically the branches and the leaves is Asgard, where Thor and the Asgardians live. The middle of the tree is Midgard, that's where Earth is. And the roots are underground, the underworld. That's where you see the Dark Elves from the second Thor film that you didn't see. But trust me, it wasn't good. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't as bad as Loki, Love and Thunder, but it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. Thor, Love and Thunder, rather, but it wasn't good. So essentially, and there's different kind of levels in between. I forgot where Hela and basically Hell for them is involved. I think Hell actually might be lower than the roots, but anyway, and it's not called Hell, it's like Niflheim or something. Again, I don't know Thor mythology all that great. Ask me about X-Men, sure. Ask me about Wolverine, definitely. Thor, I give enough to get by. So essentially, Loki has become the World Tree. He's created the World Tree for the entire existence. And I thought that was really well done, considering if you see where Loki was when we first saw him in the MCU, in the first Thor film, through the Avengers films, and now through his series. It really is an excellent arc, I think, for a character. Very well done. So, now, what are your thoughts on the finale?
I mean, I'm just wondering then, what are they doing with Loki then?
That's the big question. I don't know how much... I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's suspended in a tree, right?
Yeah, he is the tree.
He is the tree. So, what does that mean going forward? There's no more Loki then? It
could be. I mean, look, I don't know what Tom Hiddleston's contract was.
That's why it didn't sit with me well.
But at the same time, and I think this is kind of where I kind of stop with comics. It's, if this had to be the last Loki story, wasn't this like a really good ending?
If it was the last of the Loki presence, yes.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact he's not going to be the tree forever, right? Well, he's going to appear in a movie again, but how does that work?
Only out, I think, in it. If you remember in that final kind of scene where Mobius is sitting in his cubicle,
right,
And somebody asked, well, you're tracing down the He Who Remains variants. If I'm guessing correctly, because they make reference, again, just a huge spoiler. We're just spoiling all over the place. We're spoiling like the power went out, you were out on vacation, and everything in your fridge is gone. That's the level of spoilage we're at. Yeah, he makes reference to, they say, oh yeah, well there was a Loki, or there was a He Who Remains variant loose in the 616, which I explained to my wife is a reference to the Marvel Comics universe, but it looks like they took care of it. So I was under the impression, and I could be wrong about this, again, internet, just tell me if I am, of course, that the MCU is considered a different universe, so it doesn't have the same designation as 616. It's got something else. I don't know. But if I'm wrong, and let's say that they are talking about the MCU as we know it, and I'm right in that Loki has basically replaced He Who Remains, then what they're talking about in that scene could be Loki at the end of the first Avengers film. Understand?
But now he can't leave the tree.
But
so if he leaves the tree, everyone dies, right?
But you're missing the point. Even if he can't leave the tree, and he's truly replaced He Who Remains, if you recall, He Who Remains said to Loki, look, I've got variants all over the place. So that would mean that instead of Kang variants all over the place, there are Loki variants in each universe.
But what I didn't get is there are two versions of him on the show, right? There's one from the past, one from the present, or am I mixing that up?
No, that was until Loki came to that realization that we saw at the end. That was him basically going back and trying to figure things out.
Never mind.
But yeah, I think that basically what this is going to lead into, do I think we're done with Tom Hiddleston as Loki? No. I think that this big multi-universe war that they've referenced several times in this series is going to be Loki variants and various Avengers and whatnot up against Kang variants and maybe his own various characters as well. Maybe he turns a couple Avengers. We don't know.
I'm curious to see how he's going to leave the tree.
You don't understand. He doesn't need to.
But he does.
No, he doesn't.
Then how would he be present?
Because in each reality, there is a Loki. So he's like Loki Prime. And each reality has their own Loki. You understand? It's like McDonald's. Loki's the big McDonald's corporation.
Okay.
And instead of on each town, you have a different McDonald's. On each thread or each timeline, you have a different Loki. Remember, Loki variants. If Loki has truly replaced He Who Remains, then there is a Loki variant on each timeline.
Okay.
So we're going a little bit long. It's 18 minutes, honey.
Wow.
What are your final thoughts on Loki Season 2?
Overall, I thought it was a lot better than Season 1, for sure. Like, I was intrigued to see the next episode and just curious to see what's going to happen next, at least. Whereas in the first one, I was kind of checked down in the middle.
So if you give it a grade, what would you give it?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. It's pretty good. I would agree on that. I'm a tougher grader too. 4 out of 5. But look, if you've watched the MCU films and TV series, I think you owe it to yourself to watch this. Yeah, with the exception of Love and Thunder, I've for the most part enjoyed the programs for what they are. I know that there's people who
that was your favorite, I thought.
Go back and forth. But I do have a feeling that, a lot of people are touting the Marvels film as the next step in the MCU. I think this is the next step in the Avengers Secret Wars that is slated to happen.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. So, any last words for anybody here?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks again for watching. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.